Let's go to page 363, the fourth state of yoga.
Vasistha continued. In the fourth state of yoga, the yogi behold the one in all with a mind that is free from division. Division has ceased and unity is steady, and therefore they behold the world as if it were a dream.
Okay, this is the fourth state of yoga. Very simple it is Advaitam. The first three had Dvaitam. Division in consciousness is equal to Dvaitam. The first three had Dvaitam. The fourth one is Advaitam. So we did the isness meditation last week. When you are constantly established in that isness, when you are there, everything appears like a dream. Yeah, it's there for a while and it goes away. But this that I am established in, that background, that sky, that is always constant. Are you seeing this? Has it started happening in every meditation to you? Yeah, that you get established in the isness. The thoughts, the sound, the voice is just moving clouds. Yeah. That state where you get completely established in that isness is this fourth state. Completely established, you're steady. Yeah? So he uses the words there. The mind is free from division. Division is ceased and unity is steady. You see that? That isness is that unity. That is steady. And therefore the world just appears like a dream. So take a moment to see. Have you reached there? If not, have you had glimpses of it at least? Yeah. So if you've had glimpses of it, you've had 1%, 2%, 5%, whatever. Fifth state?
In the fifth state, only the undivided reality remains. Hence it is likened to deep sleep. He who has reached this state, though he is engaged in diverse external activities, rests in himself.
Okay, just imagine now in that isness when you become steady, yeah, you start going deep, deep, deep. Such a person is awake and asleep because he's not really into this samsara. For the samsaric people, he is almost asleep, though he's eyes wide awake. But he is not jumping into the samsara. He's not interested in the samsara anymore. He will do the activities that are required on account of this body still living. Yeah? But there is no indulgence, there is no attachment. Nothing exists really. Yeah? He is very, very clear that it is the undivided reality. This you can only imagine at this stage, but nothing touches him. The sixth state.
After thus proceeding from one state to another, he reaches the sixth, which is the Turiya. In this he realizes, I am neither real nor unreal, nor even egoless. I am beyond duality and unity. All doubts are at rest. He remains like a painting of a lamp. Hence, though he has not reached nirvana, lamp without fuel, he is like a lamp without fuel, as a lamp is only a painted figure. He is void within, void without, void like an empty vessel. At the same time, he is full within and full without, like a full vessel immersed in the sea.
So you remember how I took you into isness in two ways. The first way was empty the mind, empty, 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 and then you became absolutely empty. Yeah. So he's void. There are no thoughts, there are no emotions. He's completely empty. That's his state, constant state. Yeah. And then in the next session, I took you into isness through fullness. Yeah? What was that fullness? Of bhava, of love, of gratitude. And just in that fullness, again, nothing else. No thoughts were there. There were no emotions. There were no images, no concepts. It was just full of that love. In this state of Turiya, he reaches that complete totality where he's completely void also and completely full also. Yeah, so there are two ways to get there, Shunyata and Purnata. Shunyata is the way of the Gyan Yogi, Purnata is the way of the Bhakt. Both end up in the same state of Turiyavastha. That's where they realize, I am neither real nor unreal. Who is this I? That person Ekta, or that person who I thought is this body-mind complex, is not real. But at the same time, it's not even unreal. Yeah. It comes to that recognition. It's just a passing cloud. The cloud is there, but it does not have its own substantial existence. It cannot exist without the sky behind. If the sky wouldn't have been there, could the cloud be there? Not possible. Yeah. So in a way it is real, and in a way it is unreal. Do you get it? So the person, or that personal self, does not really exist. Yeah. It is real and unreal. Just like your dream at night. It's unreal. But you were sweating, you were scared. Yeah, you were actually running. You felt all that. It was so real. So it was real and unreal. Are you getting it? Exactly the same way. Yeah? He says, I am neither real nor unreal, nor even egoless. Even the ego is there. I am beyond duality and unity. Both. And all doubts are at rest. This is the highest state you can reach in this body while still living. The sixth state is the highest state you will be able to achieve in the body. And that's why he remains like a painting of a lamp without fuel. What is the difference between the painting of a lamp without fuel and a real lamp without fuel? Almost alike, almost there, but this still has the canvas. This has no canvas. Means this is still in the body. Body-mind complex is still existing. This has dropped off. It's just poetic license to say it that way.
So what is the difference between the sixth where you are in shunyata or emptiness or fullness, and the fourth where again you are established in the unity is steady?
Yeah, you're steady, but you have still not reached the highest level where everything is super clear that this personal self is real and unreal. So even in these stages that you've started going into the isness, there are deeper levels of understanding. More clarity will start happening. That's all. It's clarity from 4th, 5th, 6th in body, of course. After that is when you drop the body. Okay. You can go ahead.
They who reach the seventh state are known as the disembodied liberated beings. Their state is not for words to describe, yet they have been described variously. They who practice these 7 states do not come to grief. But there is a terrible elephant roaming in a forest wreaking havoc. If that elephant is killed, then man attains success in all these 7 states, not otherwise. Desire is that elephant. It roams in the forest known as the body. It is maddened by sensuousness. It is restless with conditioning and tendencies, vasana. This elephant destroys everybody in this world. It is known by different names: desire, vasana, tendency or mental conditioning, mind, thought, feeling, attachment, etc. It should be slain by the weapon known as courage or determination, born of the realization of oneness. Only as long as one believes in objective existence does desire arise. This alone is samsara, the feeling this is. Its cessation is liberation, moksha. This is the essence of jnana or wisdom. Recognition of objects gives rise to desire. Non-recognition of objects ends desire. When desire ends, the jiva drops its self-limitation. The great man therefore abandons all thoughts concerning what has been experienced and what has not been experienced. I declare with uplifted arms that the thought-free, notionless state is the best. It is infinitely superior to the sovereignty of the world. Non-thinking is known as yoga. Remaining in that state, perform appropriate actions or do nothing. As long as thoughts of I and mind persist, sorrow does not cease. When such thoughts cease, sorrow ceases. Knowing this, do as you please.
This is the most beautiful part. It tells you desire is that elephant, big elephant. That is the only problem. There is no other problem really. There's nothing else that you need to overcome. You cannot say, I'll keep desire and I will get enlightened. Not possible. You have to even drop the desire for enlightenment. Do you get this? Yeah. So, those who practice these 7 states, they'll never come to grief. But there is a terrible elephant roaming in a forest, and if that elephant is killed, then only man attains success in all 7 states. Do you get it? So, which means that last desire that I want to be enlightened, that also needs to drop. Just being with what is. What is. That is the magic mantra. Yeah. Desires that elephant, it roams in the forest known as body, maddened by sensuousness, restless with conditioning and tendencies. And this elephant destroys everybody in the world. It has different names. There. That is the most important line for you. Desire, vasana, mental conditioning, mind, thought, feeling, attachment. If you're trying to save any of these, oh, I have a feeling for my family. No, that at least so I can keep. No, that also he says is the elephant. Are you getting this? Yeah. Any of this you try to save, you are still caught up in that big elephant, a desire. Yeah. Take a moment to see out of this, what is your biggest attachment? Your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, your attachment to people, situations and things, your mental conditionings. And he says it should be slain by courage or determination, born of the realization of oneness. Only as long as one believes in objective existence does desire arise. This alone is samsara, the feeling this is. Its cessation is liberation. This is the essence of jnana or wisdom. What do you understand by this bold? What is the meaning of this is?
So I think in BG14 you mentioned about how the marketing is trying to increase greed. So after that, we were heading to the airport, and at the airport we saw, like, you saw things, and you wanted to possess those things. So as long as you see them as things, this is means that.
Correct. Even now, body, wife, this is child, this is house, this is anything, this is, or even your own body, this is. This is really spiritual suicide. What he's telling you to do is completely being ready to die. Are you understanding the gravity here? Completely being ready to open your arms and let go of anything and everything. Threefold. With no expectation of coming back or getting anything out of it. That kind of a free fall, being ready to jump down a cliff. That is what this is. This is. Are you getting it? It's super complicated the way he's put it. Yeah, but it's actually very simple. It's just desire, the big elephant. And this is the essence of jnana or wisdom. Recognition of objects gives rise to desire, and non-recognition of objects ends desire. When desire ends, the jiva drops its self-limitation. The great man therefore abandons all thoughts concerning what has been experienced and what has not been experienced. This is very important. Your desire comes from, I've not experienced this in life. I want this. I have experienced this already. This leads to desire. Abandoning all such thoughts. Just ready for the free fall. I want nothing, I am nothing, and I do nothing. I declare with uplifted arms that the thought-free, notionless state is the best. It is infinitely superior to the sovereignty of the world. Non-thinking is known as yoga. You getting it? Not your postures. Non-thinking. And where have you experienced non-thinking state? In the isness. That is the only place it's possible. Super clear? Yeah? Remaining in that state, perform appropriate actions or do nothing. As long as thoughts of I and mine persist, sorrow does not cease. When such thoughts cease, sorrow ceases. Knowing this, do as you please. Yeah? Till the thoughts are there, there will be sorrow. So, the ultimate aim or goal of spirituality is to bring you to that isness and you remain established there. And that's it. That is the last technique. There is nothing after that. All techniques that you did till today was to help you stay there, get there, at least understand it. Yeah? Now that you've understood it, now drop everything. It's like you took a highway to get to a particular exit. You don't hold on to the highway, right? Oh, the highway was very faithful to me. I have to be faithful to the highway. No. Now is the time to exit the highway and just be established in the isness. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Yeah? All the other techniques can now be dropped. Everything else can be dropped and just be in that isness. If you've got it, of course, those who have got it. Those who have not got it have still some time to practice the techniques and get to the state of isness. Yeah? Non-thinking is known as yoga. Highlight that. Remaining in that state, perform appropriate actions or do nothing. As long as thoughts of I and mine persist, sorrow does not cease. You should remember this again and again. Because from your isness, because you're not established, you will jump out. Again and again remind yourself, this is sorrow. Take that step back here. Again you will jump out because you're so mentally conditioned, no? From the past. Again and again remind yourself, this is sorrow. You come back. This will only give me sorrow. Even if it is $1 billion, it is only sorrow. Even if it is the best Mercedes car, it is the most beautiful woman, it is only sorrow. Are you seeing this? Even just thoughts of these things are sorrow. Even thoughts that I have experienced this one and I have not experienced that is sorrow. Are you seeing this? Again and again, be established in that isness. There is no other shortcut. Super clear? Note and read the note. For the words thinking and non-thinking in the last paragraph above, the text uses the words samvedanam and asamvedanam. Vedana we did, yeah, we called it just sensations, but here Vedana is everything, thoughts, feelings, everything, because sensation happens because of thought, no? Are you getting it? Those were baby steps to educate us. But really, all of thinking is samvedana. Yeah? And non-thinking is asamvedana, which imply much more than mere thinking. Cognition, comprehension, feeling, experience and knowledge are also implied by samvedana. Are you getting it? All of this is samvedana, is thinking. Even knowledge is thinking. Are you getting it? Once you are in the isness, you don't have to think this is the isness. It's spiritual knowledge, but now you are thinking. You have to just be, just be, just be. Because even a thought of knowledge is a passing cloud. No passing clouds. You have to be in the sky. Super clear? How knowledge also comes as a part of that? Okay.
Cognition. So, at the 7th level, if you look at me, you will not even recognize me. It's just like another body-mind complex. And
Yeah, there is no
Shruti or
thought,
not.
Shruti, or Shruti is like this or was like that. Sometimes it's not thoughts, it's just a bhava that comes up of Shruti. Even that bhava of Shruti or Amrita or Rajesh or Jayashri is a bhava which propels thoughts and feelings and some Vedana to arise. Even that, the first cognition disappears. Everything is just there. I told you one Buddha story and I don't know which session I told you one. Where Buddha was just sitting and meditating and it was full moon, beautiful full moon. Yeah, and he was just meditating on the full moon. And he was completely there, eyes were open. And a naked woman ran past. And 4 men who were running behind that naked woman came running. And they stopped in front of Buddha and asked, where did the naked woman go? Buddha said, I don't know. So they said, how could you miss her? How could you miss her? She was so beautiful. How could you not see her? So Buddha said, it doesn't matter whether somebody is clad in clothes or naked. Whether one is a man or a woman. They are all the same for me. Do you get it? Even that cognition is not there. Yeah, that's the highest state. Super clear? Now is Murthy's story. We'll read page 364 altogether.
Valmiki said to Bharadwaj, having heard this quintessence of the highest wisdom, and having been overwhelmed by Saktipat, Rama remained immersed in the ocean of bliss for a while. He had ceased to ask questions, request answers, and endeavor to understand them. He had become established in the highest state of self-knowledge. Bharadwaja asked, O preceptor, it is indeed a delight to hear that thus Rama attained the supreme state. But how is it possible for us, who are foolish and ignorant, and who are of sinful disposition, to attain that state, which is difficult even for gods like Brahma to reach? Valmiki said, I have narrated to you in full the dialogue between Rama and Vasistha. Consider it well, for that is also my instruction to you. There is no division in consciousness which can be called the world. Rid yourself of the notion of division by the practice of the secrets revealed to you. Both waking and sleep states are part of this creation. Enlightenment is characterized by the pure inner light. This creation emerges from nothing. It dissolves in nothing. Its very nature is void. It does not exist. On account of beginningless and false self-limitation, this creation appears to exist, creating countless confusions. You are deluded because you do not recollect repeatedly and frequently the truth concerning the infinite consciousness, but you partake of the poison of self-limitation and the consequent psychological conditioning. This delusion continues till you reach the feet of the enlightened sages and gain the right knowledge from them. Dear one, that which did not exist in the beginning and will not exist in the end does not exist even now. This world appearance is like a dream. The sole reality in which it appears and disappears is the infinite consciousness. In the ocean of samsara or ignorance, there arises the notion of I, on account of the beginningless potential of self-limitation. Thereupon, the movement of thought generates other notions like mindness, attraction and repulsion, etc. Once these notions strike root in one's consciousness, one inevitably falls a prey to endless calamities and sorrow. Dive deep into the inner peace, not in the sea of diversity. Who lives? Who is dead? Who has come? Why do you get lost in such false notions? When the one self alone is the reality, where is room for another? The theory that Brahman appears as the world, just as rope appears as snake, is meant only for the entertainment of the childish and ignorant. The enlightened ones rest forever in the truth, which does not even appear to be different.
This entire the half of this page is a summary of the entire Yoga Vasistha. Rama has got enlightened. The story is over now. Yeah? And these last 3 paragraphs, I'll just go over them quickly. It's just a recap of the entire scripture. There is no division in consciousness which can be called the world. Rid yourself of the notion of division by the practice of the secrets revealed to you. Practice is very important here. Yeah? Because we are not at that level, we will have to practice. Okay, what level am I talking about? There is a higher level of a yogi who just by listening gets enlightened. He's called a Shravaka. Shravak, the one who can listen and get enlightened. Yeah, but we are not there. We are at a level where we need to do abhyasa to get enlightened. So, we have to practice to get there. Both waking and sleep states are part of this creation. Enlightenment is characterized by the pure inner light. What does this mean? That means enlightenment is beyond this waking and sleep states. This creation emerges from nothing, it dissolves in nothing, its nature is void, it does not exist. On account of beginningless and false self-limitation, this creation appears to exist, creating countless confusions. This is because of the I. The false self-limitation is nothing but I. That's why you came out of the pool of consciousness. And all these confusions, countless confusions started. You are deluded because you do not recollect repeatedly and frequently the truth concerning the infinite consciousness. So why am I deluded? Because I don't recollect this truth repeatedly. Repeatedly is the key word. Again and again, I don't remind myself. I get lost in this samsara. Yeah, and who's getting lost? The ego is getting lost. But you partake of the poison of self-limitation and consequent psychological conditioning. So because there's self-limitation, I am this body-mind complex. So obviously there is psychological conditioning because of that. But really, it is all false. This delusion continues till you reach the feet of the enlightened sages and gain the right knowledge. Dear one, that which did not exist in the beginning and will not exist in the end does not exist even now. You and I are just part of a collective dream. It did not exist in the beginning, it won't be in the end. Really, it is not there now also. Yeah? We just have to wake up. And Turiya state is the first eye opening. The first time when you wake up, again you close your eyes. Happens in the morning. Yeah? A little bit you open and then you close your eyes again. The light is too much for you. You don't want to wake up. Just like that, the first state of Turiya, you have had glimpse of it every now and then. But the ego is not ready to wake up. It does not want to let go. And you understood the prerequisite is dependency needs to drop. You have to become supportless. Ego cannot tolerate this. No. There has to be another shortcut, another way, maybe another scripture I will try. In the end, you're going to come to this. यहाँ से करो या यहाँ से करो पहुँचना यही है. So when the ego finally surrenders, gives up, is tired of this samsara, then it will be ready to become supportless. Then that eyes will finally open and you'll get established in the Turiya or the isness. Are you getting it? It's just a matter of that ego losing its whatever vasana for the world, vasana to be, to exist. This world appearance is like a dream. The sole reality in which it appears and disappears is the infinite consciousness. In the ocean of samsara or ignorance, there arises the notion of I on account of the beginningless potential of self-limitation. Just a beautiful description for Maya. Beginningless potential of self-limitation is Maya, which is the nature of the Brahman consciousness. That is why the notion of I arose in it. Thereupon, the movement of thought generates other notions like mindness, attraction, repulsion, etc. So, I says I like. This is mine. I don't like this. Are you getting it? Attraction, repulsion happens from I. So, first I comes and then mindness and attraction and repulsion. Yeah. Once these notions strike root in one's consciousness, one inevitably falls a prey to endless calamities and sorrow. So basically, life is sorrow. Did you come to that now? Yes, what Buddha said right in the beginning. We have come to it in the end. Life is sorrow. Dive deep into the inner peace, not in the sea of diversity. Who lives? Who is dead? Who has come? Why do you get lost in such false notions? When the one self alone is the reality, where is room for another? Yeah, basically, there is no room for ego. Only the self is. Yeah, only the sky is. There is no room for clouds. So drop these clouds and get established in that sky of isness. The theory that Brahman appears as the world just as root appears as snake is meant only for entertainment of the childish and ignorant. The enlightened ones rest forever in the truth which does not even appear to be different. Are you understanding this? To begin with, you could not understand isness, how much ever I would have made you do that process. Some of us have still not got it. Yeah? You would have not understood it if I had started right in the beginning that there is no difference. But he had to tell us that okay, it is different. This creation is just a manifestation of that. Yeah? Then finally he comes to it. He takes you to that isness, the sky beyond, and then you see, oh, it's void, it's nothing, it's empty. This is who I am. Becoming aware of the one who is aware. Oh, it's just void there. There is nothing. So really nothing exists only. Just the void is. Just the emptiness is. Are you understanding it now? Be in that. The true, the wise one who reaches the highest level recognizes they are not even different.
It feels like the distance is very less between non-isness and isness.
Yes.
It's like, why did it take so long? You know, it's actually very small, but it takes a lot of effort to get that state.
Absolutely. That lot of effort that you're talking about has happened because the I has become weaker and weaker and weaker. And what made your I weaker? This entire walking the spiritual path, this technique, that course, this scripture, that scripture, this knowledge session, I became weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker, and you came to that point where you were charged enough to be in the isness. If the I is very strong and standing tall, there's no chance of going to the isness. No chance of experiencing this Turyavastha. It's right where I am. It's not far away. And that's what Guruji said in the Upanishads, no? When you wake up, you realize, what? All this for what? God was my next door neighbor. I knew him all along. Yeah? You know the self. You are enlightened. It's not that you have to become enlightened. You are enlightened. It's just the question of wiping the dirt of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, images, concepts created by the ego. The moment this weakens up, you realize, oh, I'm already enlightened. That's it. It's that simple. I told you there's nothing simpler than this.
What I've realized is from that isness, even now that I'm talking, there will be no talk coming out of me. Like if I'm asking questions, if I'm sharing experiences, I'm not in that isness. Because in that isness, there is no, I don't want to do anything. Like I don't want to even say anything because that is too much effort to disturb that space.
Correct. Perfect.
Because I'm talking now, I'm not in there.
Yes. Perfect. But at least you are talking of it, about it. Yeah, you're not interested in the outside, the vimukh, but you're sanmukh, as I've explained. Right direction, keep going there. That is how words automatically drop off. There is no interest to talk. There is no interest to be involved in this external world. It's a very natural dispassion. You can't control it, you can't stop it. It's like unstoppable. You can't do anything about it.
But then I don't know what is spontaneous action that you talk about, because everything so far has been reactionary. And when I'm in that business, there's no will to do anything.
Yeah, there
Then
will be
how
no
does-
will, but if something comes, like you are asked for help, you will see it as a part of the flow of karma. You'll get up, you'll help. But slowly, slowly it will happen that you will be acting also from the void. The void only acts. The void only does everything. There is no I. So you will slowly, slowly come to this realization that I does not exist. This that you're saying, no, that I'm coming out of the isness and speaking, is there because the I still has some value. So you feel this is that I, that ego that is speaking. But slowly, slowly, when you reach that level, you will realize I does not exist only. That's when you come to say, oh, God does it all. And the highest proclamation is, I am God. धीरे धीरे, baby steps. It's not too far now. अब तो चख लिया है, अब तो पीछे जा ही नहीं पाओगे. There's no going back after this.
Why is this so easy, but Buddha's method was so...
It's the same that has brought you here. That has brought you here.
But there was so much effort involved in that.
The effort was sharpening of the awareness. That chiseling of awareness has brought you here. If you had not chiseled your awareness like this day in and day out, for 2 years, you did it for 2 years, do you remember? Now is the time to drop that observation. What we were observing was the mental contents. Now we are taking a step back and observing the one who was observing the mental contents. Are you understanding this? Body, sensations, mental contents, बाहर है. कौन observe कर रहा था इनको? Who was observing? Now I am getting established in that. If I had not focused on observing only, I would have not realized that I am the observer and I can just be the observer. Are you seeing it? So it has added to your path. So this was not possible.
And when you go back to body, you can go back, there's distance back there, right?
Just a step, just a realization, just a step back. It's so easy. It's so easy.
Even doing the satipatthana or thing feels like an effort.
Perfect. This is the time to start dropping practices. Did you understand when I said you have to exit that highway now? This is the time to stop all the practices and now observe the observer. Become aware of awareness. Awareness becoming aware of itself and being established there. Steady, steady, steady. You will slip, it's okay, come back. Steady, steady, steady. You will slip again come back. समझ आ रहा है? Yeah? That's all you're going to practice now in Buddha.
So I had this experience last night, and I meant to share this with you before the class began. That I woke up this morning and I remembered this too. I remembered this whole dream, and I knew I was sleeping. I remembered that the memory was there. So somebody was watching. It was like a parda. It was like
A film.
film. Yeah, it was watching. But there was the awareness of the observer was missing.
Mm.
I was like, what? Something was missing that is present with my eyes open, but the memory of that was there. Although the memory is there, but still short of words on how to explain.
I got it.
But that awareness was not there.
The moment awareness of awareness comes, the dream will drop.
Okay.
Just like a thought comes up, you realize, oh, I'm indulging in this thought. You take that step back. Haven't you noticed the thought falls off? Dream is the same. Dream is a thought. It comes. Yeah, you're indulging in the dream. That's why you're aware of the dream. Yeah. Now is the time to become aware of awareness itself. The dream will drop. That's why Buddha can be aware the entire night and not have dreams. Because how can you dream then? समझ आ गया? This is your next homework. Start becoming aware of the awareness. Are you getting it? Aware of the awareness.
By default, just the awareness is incomplete. Like once you have tasted that awareness of awareness, it just is very different. That now you're aware of the body. And I remember this discussion where Mohit was just pestering him. Why should I be aware of my leg, where it is and where it is not? And it's like that feels so much ancient, right? Like now it's very different ballgame.
Absolutely. Now you have crossed that path. Now there is no need to go back. It's done. The job is over. The job of a highway was to bring you home. You've reached home. Stop looking at the highway now. Stop being faithful to the highway. Silly, you're home. Now, close your eyes. Relax. Rest. If you keep thinking of the highway, you're not resting at home. Are you getting it? There is a higher stage that will happen by resting. Now is the time to rest. This is only for people who have got the isness. Those who have not got the isness, you still have to practice some more. And we'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get there. In our one-on-ones, we will get there.